What's up guys, I'm Marshall of the Derelict Armory, and today I'm going to be talking about super safeties, specifically building out your AR to accommodate them. Now I was never really into, building weapons, or this isn't even built, entirely. I just did the lower, but I decided I wanted to make a IAR type of, American AR RPK. This is my take on it. But the thing is, I was not completely familiar with how to do this, and I hit probably every single roadblock and stumbling block there was on the path to this. So now I'm trying to take my experience, condense it into a little video, and then bestow it upon you so that you don't have to go through all the same things I did. Got my Army issued please don't kill yourself book here, so let me check my notes. A lot of this info comes from the Blitz Defense Super Safety Knowledge Base, which is, a page on their website. I know they sell their own super safeties. I don't have experience with any of their products, but it is a nice little collection of info just to reference from time to time. Once again, this specifically pertains to building out your AR or choosing an AR to accommodate a super safety. I know super safeties come for, AR-9s, pistol caliber carbines, other types of weapons. This isn't about that, this is about this. Fall truly is the most beautiful season in God's creation, at least here in Missouri. But I could really do without the rustling of leaves and wind blowing into my microphone. Parts compatibility. The main thing you're looking for when you're choosing what rifle or what parts is mil spec. Make sure it is mil spec. There's all kinds of different things. I didn't even know how much variation there was in the tolerances and the specifications of these parts until I started working on this. As long as whatever you're buying is mil spec and it's from a reputable seller or manufacturer, you should be good. But just make sure to double check that, right? And there might need to be some further modifications, but we'll get into that. So first thing, arguably, maybe not arguably, just straight out, the most important part of the weapon legally, lower receiver, right? What do you want to look for in a lower receiver? So the main thing, again, mil spec, I'm just going to keep hammering that home. I'm going to say, every time I say mil spec, keep that in your mind. Make sure that your lower receiver has an open pocket behind the trigger area where the safety is. Make sure it's an open pocket, there's no walls or obstructions there. Make sure it is a low shelf and not a high shelf upper, which again, something I didn't even know until I tried to do this. Originally I had a Springfield Saint Edge, which the lower receiver on that, I think they try to claim as mil spec, but I don't buy that because the shelf in the lower receiver is, I guess, what's called high cut. Basically, the way that you can tell if it's low cut or high cut, at least just eyeballing it, is if the shelf starts halfway up the hole that the safety goes in, that's a low cut receiver. If the shelf starts, in my case, above or at the top of that circle, that's a high cut receiver. You're gonna wanna get a low cut receiver out of the box, okay, ideally. Ideally, you want all this stuff done before it gets to you so that you don't have to deal with it. You don't have to mess with it. The thing about the high cut, the reason it doesn't work is it obstructs the movement of that lever, which, let me just show you. All right, I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this, but let's hope for the best. So this is a Anderson Manufacturing, cheapo poverty pony lower. On a side note, I'm glad they went out of business because this is the first Anderson lower I ever got, and every hole on here is out of spec. Like the safety hole, I had to freaking Dremel that away so the safety would fit in it. The holes for the takedown pins, not big enough. I had to Dremel those, and even now it's just bad, okay? Good riddance. I'm glad PSA put you out of business. This lever has to be able to rotate freely back and forth. It should go at least that far back to where it's level or further than level with the roof of this thing, right? The angle on the back of the lever there. If it gets stuck up here, if it's like up here or down here, that means there's some obstruction, or maybe the it's not sanded down enough or something. If it doesn't have that full range of motion, it's not going to work. Your bolt carrier group's going to get stuck halfway into your buffer tube, so you'll be able to take the thing apart. It's just going to be a bad time. So make sure that You got a low shelf and a high shelf, or sorry, a low shelf. For reference here, I don't know how well you'll be able to tell. I'll put images in post. This is my Springfield Saint Edge lower receiver. So here's the safety hole, right? And you can tell on the inside there, I don't know how well you can see it, this shelf, this wall up on the back behind it there, starts above that circle, that opening, right? As opposed to halfway down. So when I drop the super safety in here, you can even, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like some scrapes on the edges where it was rubbing up on it. It's not able to do that full rotation back. I'm not beating the goy slop allegations. In so many words, make sure it's mil spec, okay? All right, what else we got here? Upper receiver. So when it comes to the upper, there's less problems generally than with the lower. Again, mil spec. The main thing that I've run across with the upper receiver is that most upper receivers I've had or seen have this little lip on the back. You could probably even call it a shelf in itself. That's a popular word this video. I've read that it's to accommodate like an actual M16, auto sear, like the legit, component in some way. But frankly, you don't have that. I mean, come on, if you had something like that, you wouldn't be here watching this video, now would you? Anyway, this lip in the back, and I'll, come and show you in a minute here, it is another obstruction that can catch that lever and prevent it from moving all the way backward, again resulting in your bolt carrier group getting stuck right about here and just causing a bad time for everyone involved, which is just you. Well, hopefully it's just you. If that happens while you're trying to use this thing in an actual, life or death situation, yeah. This little lip on the back here, right in front of the rear, takedown pin lug, I don't know what you call that. I had to, and many others have had to, Dremel or cut that away a little bit. Just get rid of that material on the back there. Again, to allow the lever here to slide or rotate all the way back and forth, right? Don't want to get caught up on that. You're going to want, if you're going to do this like sustained, super safe fire, you're going to want to have an upper that can stand up to the strain, right? I don't think anyone's ever going to push it in a real scenario as hard as he does, but Golden Web, I'll link him in the description. He's got a series of videos where he just burns down all kinds of different rifles. So that's honestly one of the ways I came to this red right hand, upper. But the big thing for that's for like thriving, that's for excellence. For just the bare essentials and your weapon functioning as intended to begin with, make sure that that material in the back is not sanded away, or sorry, jutting out. I mean, it's gonna come that way probably. You'll have to do that, but it's not anything serious. It's super easy, okay? I'm rambling. What's the next note here? Bolt carrier group. Yeah, so again, pretty simple. The main thing with the bolt carrier group, mil spec. Make sure it's the M16 style bolt carrier where it's equally, man, I just put this thing back together. Let me take it apart real quick. You're gonna wanna make sure that your bolt carrier looks like this, to where it's got this protrusion is at this level on the top and on the bottom, because if it's just on the top and it's cut further back on the bottom, like a lot of different civilian bolt carrier groups, then it won't be able to catch and trip that lever. Same goes for the front, which is less common, but sometimes you'll find things where this front is kind of cut away. Man, I gotta clean this. Yeah, but make sure mil spec, bolt carrier group, you should be good. You shouldn't have to alter or, modify your BCG. If you do, I mean, it's way above what I'm able to do comfortably. Again, ideally, you get all this stuff right, out of the box to begin with. Whoops, my Skillcraft made proudly by blind Americans, cheap Chinese labor pen fell out. It's literally made of cardboard. It's like something, those, I don't know if it's still a thing, but those Smensels you get at the book fair, where it's like a colored pencil or pen or something, and it's got like cardboard that smells like bananas, I was gonna go those every time. Experience. All right, trigger. Frankly, if you ask me, just go to D's Nuts Tactical. That's who I got my stuff through. Great products. Go to someone who actually does this, a reputable seller who actually does the trigger for you, because it does have to be cut a specific way. They also sell jigs to where you can cut your own triggers yourself, but I don't have all the proper equipment. I don't have the experience and expertise for that. I've tried. You know, I've got non-super safety triggers cut to that they'll work with a super safety, but would I put my life on those over the one that comes like this from their company? Probably not. The final big thing when it comes to components here is your buffer and the buffer weight. Now, the Blitz Defense knowledge base recommends different buffer weights for different gas systems, gas system lengths. They say for a rifle length gas system like this one, either a carbine or H1, I would say, from my experience, H1 buffer is the bare minimum, like the lowest you want to go in weight, because this came with a carbine buffer and malfunctions galore, right? The main reason you want to have a heavier buffer is to prevent bolt bounce, where, you know, your bolt carrier group will slam forward and then bounce back a bit, and that manifests when you're shooting it as a dead trigger, and when you eject the actual, you know, cartridge that failed to go off, it'll look like a light strike, like a light primer strike. There'll be a little punch on the back there. That's most likely bolt bounce. So you want to have at least, I would say, an H1 buffer. Now for me, I'm running an H3 buffer in this just because, one, if an H1 is the minimum, then H3 is, you know, reliable, extra redundant reliability. And two, I wanted to have a little bit more weight back there to kind of slow down the fire rate when I'm, you know, full super safe, because I'm not rich. I'm not a gun tuber. I mean, I guess, you know, technically, but I don't get sponsored to do this. So I don't have, you know, hundreds of dollars to spend on, you know, hundreds and thousands of rounds of ammo. And it comes down to control build, well, whatever, okay? Personally, I have an H3 in this, even though it's a rifle length system. If you have a mid-length or carbine, or, you know, some even like a short crazy pistol, you know, AR pistol, absolutely would recommend an H3 buffer. Yeah, so that's all I've got pretty much when it comes to the parts. Again, it pays dividends to make these selections beforehand, before you start, you know, Frankensteining everything together. Or if you have a rifle that you just want to change out, I mean, most people aren't going to build this from the ground up. They're just going to take their usual rifle, remove the safety that it came with, and drop in a super safety, which, you know, probably for the best, right? But yeah, just make sure you're looking for those telltale things. Make sure your lower receiver is compatible. Make sure your upper receiver is cut. You know, make sure you've got a trigger that works with it. Make sure your buffer is the right weight. Mil spec. Ow, kind of hurt my palm there. I'm not going to get into troubleshooting stuff. You know, once you've got all that stuff down, it's still not working where you want it to be. There's a million videos out there on YouTube about how to troubleshoot it, saying, oh, polish this piece, you know, sand that piece. This is just, you know, to get you off the ground without having to go through all the mistakes that I did. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys for this video. Thanks for tuning in to the first video on the Derelict Armory channel. I'm Marshall, and I hope you enjoy a very pleasant rest of your fall season. Peace out. I can feel my sperm count dropping with every sip.